Welcome to Sano Computational Medicine Seminar. And today we have a talk which is to some extent connected to the talk which was given in the end of March by Maciej Paszyński. And today we have as our host Professor Maciej Woźniak, who is a professor at the Faculty of Computer Science of AGH University in Krakow. And he received his master degree in 2013, then in he obtained in his PhD in 2017 and habilitation in 2024, if I remember well. And he is a member of the team which is led by Maciej Paszyński. And he's working mostly on elaboration of parallel versions of direct solvers for isogeometric finite element methods. And he is expert on efficient usage of parallel computer architectures. Well, as usual, we will have opportunity to ask questions during the talk using chat and questions and answers. And of course, there will be a discussion after Maciej will complete the talk. So, well, Maciej, screen is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. As you said, I'm basically a guy who's doing all this parallel usage of the different architectures. So today I wanted to present you work that is actually work that I did together with a couple of more people, together with Magdalena Pabisz, Askold Vilkha, Maciej Paszyński, both from AGH University of Krakow, and also there was Dominika Ciupek from Sano doing some parts of the work. So the talk will be on concurrency of exponential integrators for the glioblastoma brain tumor simulations. So first, let me outline briefly what I will show during the presentation. So first, I will do a short summary of trace theory. What is it about? Why do we use it? And how it fits with the research. Then I will briefly talk about exponential integrators for glioblastoma brain tumor. Then the concurrency analysis of the exponential integrator kernels for this particular research. Then some exemplary numerical results, MRA data scans, and finally the implementations and, of course, the conclusions. So starting with the trace theory, because first we have to understand what we are talking about, why is it so nice, and why do I use it. So first of all, this is a basic concept that is a kind of mathematical model of how we can describe concurrency. So it uses a finite alphabet sigma. We usually describe it with the letter sigma. This alphabet is a finite set of operations defined with data accuracy. So These operations are atomic, so it means that they cannot be divided into smaller parts. Of course, sometimes you can say that, oh yeah, but you can divide this atomic operation into a smaller parts, but it may make no sense to divide them into smaller parts, or they can be divided into smaller parts. Let's say, for example, addition of two variables from our perspective is undividable, but from the CPU perspective is actually a couple of CPU instructions. So it's undividable from our standpoint, from the definition standpoint. Okay, so this is one part of this, what's making up this trace theory. So as we have this alphabet, we define a set of words that can be defined as a finite sequence of operations. So these operations, by the definition, have to be finite, and they can be constructed from the letters from the alphabet. Of course, the letters can be repeated. So we equip this set, which we call here sigma star, with the following operations, such as operation of catenation of two words. So we can catenate two words and make one word from two separate words. We have also a neutral element of catenation, such as empty word. So we can add the empty at the beginning or at the end of the previous word, and we end up with exactly the same thing. So the set of this sigma star, which is a set of all the words, with a catenation operation and an empty word, is called the free word monoid over the alphabet sigma. So so we can also call it the monoid of traces. Okay, so you can ask so what is this? You say trace, what is this trace? So as I said, we have these operations, these atomic operations, this alphabet of operations, which we can compose into some words that are a serial execution of some code, of some program. And monoid of a trace is when you have this program that can be parallel or sequential, and you execute it, and you end up with monoid that represents how these operations actually executed in this concurrent concurrent program on one single CPU. So this is this kind of thing that you can end up. Okay, so having also this alphabet of these operations, we equip the alphabet sigma with two relations. So we have relations of dependence and we have relation of independence. So both relations sum up to sigma square, which means each operation together with each one is actually these relations is a relations of a pairs of the operations, and each operation can each pair is either in dependence or independence relations. So if the operations are dependent by the data, so they operate on the same data when one of them modifies the data, of course they are dependent. But if they only read the data or they use separate kind of data, they are independent. Also, by the definition, dependence relations is symmetric and reflexive, and independence relation is symmetric and anti-reflective. Okay, so we actually need this a lot to create some more, do some more stuff with this alphabet and monoid, because we'll need it in the end to do the perfect or at least very good parallel implementation. Okay, so we have okay, so sorry, we have this this definition that actually puts us towards into this this sigma star. So this is kind of a definition that tells us that the two words can be basically leading to the same execution in the end, the same result. So in fact, especially when you have these concurrent programs, we can sometimes switch the order of the execution of some of the tasks of these letters from the alphabet. Especially when they are independent, we can swap the letters when they are independent in the execution order, and it will be fine. We'll end up with exactly the same thing. So basically, this is the definition that says exactly this. So the set of the alphabet and the independent relation with the catenation action induced from sigma star and the neutral element is called a set of traces, and these elements are called traces of concurrent computation. So this is exactly as I said before. This is the traces that we have, that when we have this concurrent program that we execute on a single CPU, and we end up with bunch of traces that represent this execution. Okay, so we have all this, and now we introduce the Fata normal form. So this is something that is actually very useful for this implementation of concurrent execution. So we set something that is called the, okay, let's say it in different way. So we have a non-empty word W, and we have multiple of these words. And what we do, we inside this word Wi, we have a set of tasks that are pairwise independent between each other. So it means that within this word we can swap the letters any way we like, and we end up with exactly the same execution because they are pairwise independent. So we take our trace and we split it in such a way that we end up with this word constructed from this Fata classes, and inside each class we have all these tasks independent between each other. So this is what we do here. So this is basically all these definitions that we need, and having that, we can decompose the program that is represented by our set of alphabet, set of tasks, this dependent relations, this independence relation. We can split it into this Fata normal form that we said, and these Fata classes, Fata sets, so that within each of the sets we have this words that, so we have this task that we can split, we can swap any way we like. So this actually gives us one huge benefit. because we can these tasks are pairwise independent, we can execute them at the same time. So there's no such thing as a race condition. So if you don't know what is a race condition, so we have two tasks that try to modify the same variable at the same time, and you end up with some unpredictable behavior. So there's no such thing here. Okay. So if all operations are dependent, so as we go to the next, there's one more important thing here. As you go to the next FATA class, FATA set, you can have the relations, the dependence relationship with the previous one, but not within the same one as we are inside. Okay. So the standard procedure that we can use is, as we have this FATA normal form constructed, we can schedule the execution in such a way that we execute a set one after another. So we execute the first FATA class, first FATA set, we end until it finishes, then we execute the other one, we wait until it finishes, and then we go to the next one, and so on until we finish the execution of entire program. So basically, this is the whole theory behind what we are trying to do. Yeah, and there's also one more thing. Basically, for my students, actually, it's something that is a little bit easier to understand. To construct, it's called trace dependency graph. So a trace dependency graph is a set where the nodes are actually the letters from the alphabet, and we have all these letters from the alphabet that we use. Of course, they can be repeated, and based on the based on the relation of the happened before relation, we draw an edge from one node to another whenever we have a happened before relation, and we do not draw edges from when they can be constructed from a couple more of the other ones. This is something that is like actually quite way of simplifying the graph. I think I can skip this one because we have already used 25 minutes. Okay, so anyways, from the mathematical standpoint, the graph and the Dicker's graph, dependency graph, and the FATA normal form are kind of equal to each other. So you can construct one from another and vice versa. Okay, I can skip this, I can skip this, and we can go straight to glioblastoma tumor model.
Well, excuse me, I think that
we can have some questions.
Maybe it would be reasonable to add just one sentence about this trace theory.
Okay.
It is a kind of algebra, so
yes.
It means that it may be let's say operations may be done in a formal way.
Yes.
And if I remember well from let's say the time when I was giving lectures on concurrency, there is a kind of let's say well, probably it is isomorphy between monoids in trace theory and something what is used in a kind of to represent parallel concurrency,
Mhm.
Petri nets. Petri nets are graphs, yes, and
not exactly. Petri. Okay, so let's say it differently. Because Petri nets can run infinitely, so you can have a Petri net that runs indefinitely. And the trace theory is finite in the sense that the words that you can construct are finite. So
yes,
that's one of the differences.
Yes, of course you're right, but operations on graphs are not so easy to be formalized as operations which are described with algebra. So it is well, somebody can let's say have on one side Petri nets, on the other side this what
Trace
is trace theory, and let's say when
Yes,
it feels.
CSP algebra.
Sorry for interrupting, but I
No
think that
problem.
it is important here.
Yes, but yeah, as you say, basically the Petri nets and trace theory both attack concurrency problems, but they have different kind of applications. Because we use this trace theory to construct this Dicker's graph and flat normal form using this alphabet and dependency relation, and of course a trace to construct the optimal scheduling for the GPU. And you use Petri nets to not only, but also to show that there is no problem like deadlock in the system. And the system is not in some kind of, what's called, unsafe state. So, as I say, both tackle the same thing, but from different perspectives.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, let's go to the glioblastoma tumor model. So we have a simple, maybe not so simple, but equation, Fisher-Kolmogorov diffusion reaction equation with logistic growth describing the brain tumor dynamics. So we have a change over time, and it's constructed from these two components. We have the component from tumor cell diffusion, and we have a component for tumor cell proliferation. So this one actually represents the tumor cell density scalar field over time, how it changes. The D represents the diffusion coefficients. Of course, it can be different for different kind of tissue. It's different in the air, where it's basically 0. And we have the coefficient of the proliferation rate of the tumor cells. So it basically tells us how fast they multiply. Okay. So our model is heterogeneous, which means that the diffusion changes with the points of the computational stencil. So for the white matter, it's equals to 0.13. For the gray, it's equals to 0.013, and in the air, it's equals to 0, because we assume that it doesn't spread in the air. And the proliferation rate is assumed to be 0.025 per day. So we do the discretization with finite difference method, and we assume regular computational grid with the points. Okay, so this should be simple. So we perform a finite difference discretization of the tumor growth over 3D grid of the points. And if we go into describing exactly how the equation looks like, this is something like this. This is actually quite a lot happening here. but there's nothing really strange happening here. It's just simple algebra of describing exactly this component. Of course, if h is the stencil dimension, and the rest is just as simple as this. Okay, so we can rewrite the finite difference equation into the matrix form. So the change over time is equals to this. And for this system of equations, it is possible to express the solution as the integral equation, and this is actually published by Magdalena Pabisz, Judith Munoz-Matute, and Maciej Paszyński, augmenting MRI scan data with real-time prediction of glioblastoma brain tumor evolution using faster exponential time integrators. So this works in such a way that we update from time moment tn to the time moment tn plus 1, so from one snapshot to another, from the interval I, where tn plus 1 equals tn plus tau, which is this time difference. So we employ s as the integration variable in such a way. So right now we say that u to the power of n plus 1 equals exponential tau times a times u to the power of n plus this component. So we will approximate this part as like in the other method, and we'll take out f of the un out, since it does not depend on the s. So we'll just simplify it. So we can compute this. We can compute this integral to obtain actually this. So we use the property that exponential of 0 equals identity, with 0 and identity being this matrices respectively. So for our equation, we can write the whole equation using the notation of this one. So phi of 0 equals to the exponent, to the exponent of tau a. So we can compute this in such a way. Okay. So actually there's kind of lots of mathematical stuff happening here. Basically we are replacing one parse with another to end up with some simplified version that works with this exponential integration to make it work actually a lot faster. So what we do is, in the end, we perform this simplification. So we end up with un to the power of n plus 1 equals u to the power of n plus this component. Of course, un was our step in the time n. So in the end, we'll need to compute this exponential. So we have a sum from k from 1 to infinity of k plus 1 how is it called in English? Whatever. Okay. So actually, instead of computing exponential itself, we'll compute the action of the exponential with the respect to matrix A and this component B. Okay, so what we do, we construct a matrix that actually is composed from a couple other matrices. This J is equals to actually exactly this. This matrix, this A is a matrix that was defined previously, and this word is computed like this one. So the action of exponential, this action of computing this exponential is namely computing something this simple. And because we had some stability issues, we express it a little bit differently to get rid of all these problems with stability. And from the Taylor expansion, we ended up with this simple equation. So with the proper selection of S and M, we actually can compute this simple thing just doing it multiple times. So we have this simple summation and we multiply it as times by a sequence of summed simple, actually these were vectors. And from the multinomial theorem, we end up with this summation of a couple of multiplications. And this method of computing action of exponential integrator allows us for the precomputing of particular powers of p from 1 to s and sum them up for the proper, to end up with the proper coefficients. So we decompose the computations of the exponential actions into the alphabet of tasks as we need it for the concurrency analysis using the trace theory method. So we introduce our first task. Our first task is the generation of the nth combination or in the lexicographic order, and we define this task in this way. So our task AN is actually doing this. So then we define our next task. Our next task is Bj. Bj is the projection into jth component, and it's defined like this. Then we have our third task. This is the definition of the operator of computation of the factorization of coefficients. It's defined like this. This is actually what the task does inside. Our next task was the definition of a operator that computes the product of all the factorization coefficients. And the fifth task is also defined, and it's a computation of multinomial coefficients. It's done like this. And we have our sixth task, G. It's multiplication of problem matrix B by a vector V1. And the result, and the task that multiplies the resulting vector by a matrix to obtain the power of the matrix is defined here. As you can see, this is very similar definition, but we have a different coefficients here. Okay, and we are wrapping up our tasks. We have a task that combines together the previous tasks, so combines the results. And we also have a task that does the summation of the terms. So having all this defined, we can do a simple example of how it works on what we have here. So we have, to simplify, we have this defined in this way. And now, having all the tasks defined, having all this, how this coefficients change, we define our alphabet of tasks, and we represent the sequential algorithm, our sequential trace in such a way, and we give our dependency relation. So as you can see, here we have our dependency relation. So B1 is dependent with all this, B2 is dependent with all this, and so on and so forth. And of course, each operation is dependent with itself by the definition, and of course it's also symmetrical by the definition. Having defined this trace and having defined this dependency relation, we by the definition we know the independence relation because it's easily computable from the dependency relation. And right now we construct our Foata sets, and as you can see, within each of the Foata sets, within each of the Foata classes, we can swap all these tasks however we like. So this means, having defined this, computed this, you can see that we actually can run the simulation in 8 steps because we have 8 Foata classes, 8 Foata sets, and each of the sets can be executed exactly at the same time because we have no such thing as race condition, and it's quite easy to schedule. And also we have our dependency graph. Here the dependencies go from the right to the left and from the left to the right. Yeah? So as you can see, from the right to the left, and then from here also to here. So as you can see, we can schedule first these blue ones, then these pink ones, then these green ones, and then the violet ones, and then the yellow ones. So this basically, this coloration, these colors are actually the same thing as these things here. Oh, sorry, we have I have a mistake. These arrows should point the other way around. So yeah, it's my mistake. I noticed it this very moment. So as you can see, actually this coloration of the graph is actually the same thing as this one here. Okay. We used 4 publicly available T1 weighted magnetic resonance imaging datasets, and we tried to use it for running our simulations. So our sequential code was executed on the Banach Linux workstation. This is actually the one that I'm using right now at the very moment. It was running OpenSUSE Tumbleweed operating system, and this workstation is equipped with the Ryzen 3900X CPU and the RTX 2080 Super GPU, which is equipped with 3000 processing cores and 8 gigabytes of GPU memory. So all the computations were run using the MATLAB, the latest version. At least it was the latest version at the moment of the running of the code. And we did 1000 time steps of the exponential integration simulations. So initial day T0 was run up to the day of this 728th day. The computational domain was a mesh of the size of the cube of the size of 94 by 248 by 256 millimeters. The initial position of the tumor is given here, and all the initial state is defined here. These are our snapshots from the days 116 all the way up to the last day. And as you can see, the tumor here is slowly growing. This is the sagittal view from the snapshots from the same days, and as you can see, there are some changes happening in this area, in these cross sections. This is the axial view snapshots from the same days. As you can see in this area here, we have, let me use this pointer here. We have the changes. We also compared the execution time of the 1000 time steps simulations between this sequential CPU code and the parallel code, which was based on this trace theory analysis. And for the larger grid dimensions, we would require a bigger GPU with more memory. So we actually ended here with this mesh size because the GPU, this was the limit of the GPU. So as you can see, the blue line is the execution time for the CPU. The red is the execution time for the GPU. As you can see, as we increase the mesh size, the gains of the GPU are more visible. And based on the measured execution time, we computed the speed up for different mesh sizes. And as you can see clearly, as we approach the larger meshes, the speed up is better. So it means that the hardware is utilized in a better way. And this is some snapshots from the implementation of how we do it. So this is we use GPU arrays in the MATLAB, and using these GPU arrays we do compute the steps in this way. I think I can skip it. Basically, it's in a paper that is submitted, and I hope it will be reviewed and published soon. So as I say, it should be publicly available very, very soon. At least that's my hope. With the sequential execution of the let me skip the implementation. I think it's not interesting that much for most of you in the end, as we are approaching the 50 minutes of the talk. So let me jump straight to the conclusion. So first of all, the conclusions that trace theory task decomposition yields a rigorously balanced predictable execution graph for the GPU runtimes. It's having this trace theory decomposition, it's quite easy to do the implementation for the GPU, or at least it's much easier than when not having this kind of mathematical model. Migrating from the CPU to the GPU, the one that I have here, delivers 30 to 40 times speed up versus the CPU for this tumor growth simulations. The presented scheme shows stability even under heterogeneous diffusion reactor coefficients, and actually the code and the whole model can be upscaled into multi-GPU clusters for the next generation accelerators and supercomputers. Okay.
Well, many thanks for this talk. Now we have time for discussion, for questions. Well, can you give some information about on which because here you have some information about these technicalities about processors on which it was computed, but have you used resources from I don't know, from your local server or Cyfronet or?
Yes, we tried to run it in Cyfronet, but the problem is that running MATLAB and our code on the Cyfronet supercomputers is not that easy. So we ended up with some very nice scalability results, but I did not include them here. I have them somewhere else.
This parallel version of the code was somehow coded in MATLAB, or
yes, it was coded. It was coded in MATLAB.
Oh, so probably it could be some gain of efficiency if you just move it to.
Of course. Of course, there's no doubt. Actually, writing it in MATLAB was much faster from the developing standpoint than doing a proper Fortran code.
Yes, of course, it is somehow, let's say, a kind of, you need to make a choice between how much time it will take to implement something, to program something, and how much time it will take compute something. So sometimes that human time is much more important than computer time. But if it would be, I understand that if this would be something used routinely, yes, for example, in maybe in some hospitals, then it will be much better to code it in I don't know, in C or something like this. Yes.
Yes, of course, doing this kind of proof of concept, the human time is more important than the execution time.
Of course, and well, it's for me, it is also a very nice example of usage of this trace theory for concurrency. Yes, so it's a
yeah, the truth is that I actually use this trace theory for lots of things. So whenever I have something that I need to run on the GPU, it's really nice to use it because it simplifies the coding a lot.
Yes, and it is something what is not exposed in all these manuals on parallel computing. So this is strange.
Yes.
Because well, there is this handbook from Germany, from Dresden, and well, they are, let's say, explaining parallelization on the level of code instead of, let's say, this analysis with which, let's say, gives some information and prevents from all these dangers. Yes, because after this analysis with trace theory, you are sure that there will be not deadlock and something like this inside. Okay, and I'm trying to look at the audience and to look for questions here. But oh yes, we have Maciek Malawski.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Maciek, for this nice presentation. I have a question about this, last bullet point on the current slide.
Yes.
So about this, I guess it's future work, but maybe you have already done something towards this multi-GPU on a single node server, and then maybe even to multiple servers, multiple nodes with the GPU. So what are the main, differences from this single GPU version, and what are the challenges there?
Okay, so let me start from, let's say, the other perspective. So for this work, it's not, let's say, it's not even started yet. However, I have right now a couple of students master's degree students writing their master's degree thesis, and they actually you are using at the very moment this trace theory to construct code that runs on multi-GPU servers. And this is something that we are doing at the very moment, as I say. So it's a work in progress, but for a different topic, for the integration of the basis functions for isogeometric method. So this is, as I say, something a little bit different. But as far as we are right now with the work, it seems that we do not have any more problems than using, let's say, standard GPU. In the sense that we basically because these tasks are independent from each other, they operate on different data, we can much more easily split the data between the GPUs.
Okay. Yeah, but I understand that this is fairly easy in the case of these independent tasks. But then you often have a case where there are dependencies, between these.
Yes, and then we have to, and then you have to synchronize. So each time you have the synchronization, it's a problem.
Yeah, so then we are back into the problem of this kind of DAG scheduling or this type of management.
Yeah, and you're back at the problem of data managing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? Well, so in the meantime, I have checked that this trace theory approach is not mentioned in probably the most, let's say, often used book by Thomas Rauber and Gudularinger, which is called Parallel Programming for Multi-Core and Cluster Systems. So probably we need to, we will, with our seminar, we will somehow propagate usage of this approach as an efficient one. So so many thanks for this contribution. Well, and as there are no more questions, so many thanks for your talk, and I hope that the fact that Dominika was on the list of co-authors means that there is a kind of collaboration with Sano, which is good. And well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to invite everybody to the next seminar, which will be in a week from now on May 5th. It will be presentation of research which are going on in the Academic Center for Materials and Nanotechnology. This is a selection of this topic and is motivated by the fact that on 2 days, on Monday, May 12 and 13, we will have a meeting of large European project Gemini, and it will be in the premises of this Academic Center for Materials and Nanotechnology. So it would be good to know what is going on in this building. So you are kindly invited to our seminar in a week from now. Many thanks, and see you in a week from now.